Today, we are going to unpack a huge idea that's been floating around the XRP community for years. But now it's actually being proven right by some major institutional moves. So let's get into it. Why the smart money is holding on to their XRP.
But before we dive in, let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered how you can actually build up a real stack of XRP without having to sink thousands and thousands of dollars into buying it on an exchange? It's a really important question, and I promise we're going to circle back to it, because this whole ecosystem is changing for everyone, not just for the big guys. All right, so here's the game plan. We're going to start with that never sell strategy. Then, we'll look at why the XRP ledger was basically built for institutions from day one. After that, we'll cover a brand new on-chain protocol that's a total game changer, see how XRP is turning into productive collateral, and then finally, we'll talk about your path to accumulation. For the longest time, never sell your XRP just felt like, a meme, something people said for fun. But what if it was actually a really smart financial strategy this whole time, just hiding in plain sight? This quote just nails it. Never sell your XRP was not hype, it was strategy. Think about it. This is exactly how the wealthy manage their money. They don't sell their most valuable assets to get cash. No way. They hold on to them, borrow against them, and then use that borrowed money to make even more money. It's all about using leverage, not selling off your best stuff. So, what does this have to do with the technology itself? Well, let's look at the core design of the XRP ledger, because you'll see how it was built for this exact kind of institutional strategy. You see, the XRP ledger was never trying to be the Wild West of experimental DeFi. From the very beginning, the creators made a very specific choice to focus on things like speed, rock-solid reliability, and knowing a transaction is final for good. And because of that, the XRPL has this decade-long track record of just working, which is exactly what big institutions need before they'll even think about touching a blockchain. And this slide, wow, it really lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you have retail DeFi with its crazy interest rates and super high-risk smart contracts, stuff that would give a compliance officer at a bank a heart attack. And on the other, you have what institutions need: predictable rules, serious risk management, and capital efficiency. There's this massive gap in the market, and the XRPL is perfectly positioned to fill it. Which brings us to the really big news: a proposal to build institutional-level lending right into the DNA of the XRP ledger itself. Now, this is not just another app that someone built. We're talking about a proposed amendment called XLS 66 board that would actually bake lending directly into the core protocol of the ledger. That is a massive deal because it makes it incredibly secure and reliable from the ground up. So how does this actually work? Well, it's this really clever hybrid model that basically gives you the best of both worlds. You get fixed-term, fixed-rate loans, just like in traditional finance. The borrowers get checked out off-chain, but the loan itself lives on-chain for everyone to see. It's the perfect bridge for institutions to walk across from their world into the blockchain world. And what this new protocol does, it's not just adding a feature. It fundamentally changes what XRP even is as an asset. This image just says it all, right? XRP is leveling up. It's going from being this really fast bridge asset for payments to becoming productive collateral. What that means is that big holders, like institutions, can now lock up their XRP, borrow against it, and put their capital to work to generate even more value. It makes their holdings so much more efficient. And a huge piece of this puzzle is going to be Ripple's new stablecoin, RLUSD. Businesses don't want to borrow in something volatile. They need predictable numbers. So they'll be able to borrow RLUSD against their XRP, giving them instant cash to run their business. Okay, so this all sounds amazing for the big players. Institutions get this super powerful new tool. But what does any of this mean for the everyday person holding XRP? What's in it for you? And this is where it gets really, really exciting for us. This whole institutional movement isn't happening in some separate universe. It's actually creating this parallel opportunity for individuals like you and me to go from just holding to actually participating. New tools are popping up that let people get involved, add value, and accumulate XRP in a whole new way that goes way beyond just buying and hoping. Which brings us right back to that question I asked at the beginning. In this new world, how can you and I actually accumulate XRP? Let's talk about one of the paths that's opening up right now. All right, it's time to answer that big question. How do you accumulate XRP without dropping thousands of dollars on an exchange? The strategy isn't about staring at charts all day. It's about getting involved directly in the growth of the network itself.
One of the most powerful answers is to become an educator and a network builder. The whole idea is to accumulate XRP by helping other people learn about the power of self-custody and how to actually use the ledger. And there are platforms being built specifically for this, like XRP TIP TEAM, which is all about creating what they call infinite tip streams just by teaching people.
And getting started with these kinds of systems is usually designed to be super simple. It really just boils down to a few steps. First, you get a self-custody wallet like Zamin, so you're in full control. Then you activate your spot in the protocol, and after that, you just start sharing your unique link to bring other people into the ecosystem.
What's so great about these platforms is that they handle all the complicated blockchain stuff for you. They automate all the transactions in the background so you can just focus on sharing and teaching. And the best part? The rewards are instant. You get a little Telegram notification the second a new tip hits your wallet. So when you do this, you're not just earning a few tips. You're actually becoming a key part of the network, a node for knowledge and for adoption. Just like institutions are about to provide financial liquidity, you're providing social and educational liquidity. It's essential for growing the peer-to-peer economy. And in a system like this, they call you a tip liquidity node.
So you see what's happening? As the big institutions are getting ready to use XRP's collateral, this whole other wave of grassroots participation is building up at the same time. We're shifting from just holding to actively building. If you want to see how individuals can get more hands-on, you should definitely check out the platforms pioneering these models. To see the system we talked about today, just head over to xrptipteam.com.